guys, welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you. I'm DogGodFrogLog, and we are going to be just kind of putzing around with a little Decentraland. I might launch a couple shows here on YouTube. Kind of just check and see what there is. We have Night Story going over here on the left, where we just need like one more piece of mithril. Or titanium to make our first piece of titanium armor. But nothing too big going on. So we did, let me go show you my other scene. We'll delete this one. So here's the first scene that I've made for this game. It's a little trailer. You see the door opens. This is where he's drinking. He has some lighter fluid there for his fire. A uprooted tree. No trespassing. Warning, trespassers will be shot. The camera is a little bad. And he has his little mailbox here. And fire hydrant that doesn't do nothing. I even put a little trailer hitch on it. Now, if anything, I'm thinking maybe I should have put it a little bit farther back, but I think that looks good. Good enough. I mean, I couldn't really get like a screen door or nothing, or I would have shoved a screen door on this motherfucker. But I like it. We're going to try to make something a little bit more complex this time. I'm not sure what all of the smart assets are. So what can I do with these things? I'm wondering if I can use these as platforms. I could have swore that. Oh, I can't duplicate this item. Interesting. Well, at least the axes give me a variety of creatures I can use in my sort of like... Axes at least fit the theme for like a nature setting or something. Like a little nature. What do I want to do with all this land? No audio here. It should be making the bird sounds again. Okay. Well, that works. I didn't expect it. Ah, okay. Here's my trigger box. This is a click box. Unclicked. Okay. We got an invisible wall, and then we have a message bubble. So, can I set the click area to when clicked message bubble? Ooh, there we go. Okay, so I can platform, I can set things up to interact with, I can have various messages that will appear and reappear. Not sure what the tools are though. Like it says tools, but I can't do anything with that. Everything else makes sense, but I'm not sure what tools are. So I can have about 120 items in this instance. Pirate bronze. I'll probably just take a look at it right now and then kind of like think about it. Probably like take a buff, you know, and really think about what I want to do. You do have platforms. There's a part. I gotta play with all of this. I mean, is there just a way to search by... Bubba, no! Jack! It's her backpack. Bubba, no. Bubba, quit it. I'm out of stuff to throw at him, Jack. Let me check out the pirates and see what they have. He goes straight over there when he doesn't get attention from me. Oh wait, we just checked out the pirates. Let me check out fantasy. Signpost route, fantasy lever, iron key, gem key, chest, tree. Lots of signposts. Lots of signposts. We do have some buttons with the fantasy that we can use. A countdown timer, which we can use. Magic rocks again. Rising. You're the pig. That's it, just no smart items, just orientation, Genesis City. More signposts, more scrolls, a scoreboard, which is a new thing. A police siren, which doesn't really let us do much. Another countdown timer, a cable box, and a metal case, which is just open, right? Yeah. A tablet, a lever console, a head access, and a fingerprint access. I'm not sure what these are supposed to do. Oh, okay. So it is like a little data pad that I'll be able to use. So I'll be able to use this with the combination of other items as little... Okay. That will work, because then I can set up the hexagonal containers as teleporters, maybe? Can I teleport with this system? I could put you in the teleporter and then just have it move and then pretend you've teleported. Oh, and I could use the little... I don't know if I can actually make a rocket, but I do know the levers and the switches and everything that I would say. It all came together in my head just there. I know what I would do to set this thing up. Let me add in some more details. I know what I'm going to do for this. I know. I got it. And then if this one goes really well, I can use up to 120 items in here. So depending on how long this one takes, we'll see. Because then I might have time to do one more, like a bigger one. But I might just stick with these two because I'm not sure. Let's play some forgotten artifacts and watch some videos. Tomorrow I will be taking the day off tomorrow. I will be heading out of town. I have some business to attend to. Family along a prestiged line of nerds. Nerds from the 13th century, to be precise. It's pretty well known in my parts that my grandfather was the first person to lick his thumb. Who wants to get fucked up? I do. I want to get fucked up with you. All I see every day is artifacts in the fucking way. Give me my Santa Claus. Give me my Santa Claus. All I love is money, 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 money. Gonna turn off the music. We'll keep the sound effects so I don't like get killed. Yeah, the graphic, it does look better when you just lower the graphics down to like high. Does the trick. We're gonna watch like bad videos on YouTube and stuff, and we're just gonna like chill. Because that's what I like to do. I like to just chill.
More than any other medium, gaming is constantly innovating at a pretty unprecedented pace. Game engines, rendering techniques, detailed character models, and simply the stories that are being told can be outdated within a year or two of release, forcing developers and publishers to forever look to the future, to at least attempt to predict what may or may not catch on, or to kickstart a trend themselves. For many games, lightning strikes and we tend to associate either said franchise, landmark, one-off, or the creators themselves for getting everything just right. But what of the other titles that attempt to line up the stars only to find that no one was looking? A good handful of the following games were certainly pretty popular, but they all displayed characteristics, mechanics, or features that set them apart from the competition in their respective time, or they were aped and innovated on years, sometimes decades into the future. So with that stuff in mind, which games completely blew you away by being ahead of the curve, only for the industry to keep thundering on without anybody else noticing? I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 underrated video games that were way ahead of their time. Number 10, Killswitch. We tend to attribute the whole stop and pop cover system to Gears of War, but there was one title that showcased this exact trope back when Marcus Phoenix was but a glint in Epic Games' eye. 1999's Operation Winback had already laid the groundwork for hugging walls and popping out to blast enemies, but it was Namco's Killswitch that put its variation on the same cover system front and center for all to see. All of this whilst introducing Blind Fire, another quintessential ingredient of the Gears of War formula. Sadly, despite both games showing remarkable potential, Killswitch in particular was regarded regarded as being truly innovative for the time, its level design and story just couldn't make a lasting impression. Not to mention, Killswitch came across as a B-tier release, albeit with pretty awesome features. Yet those things combined to mean that the industry just wasn't ready to embrace it wholeheartedly. That would instead happen with Gears of War and the Xbox in 2006, and the rest remains history.
No way that dude
Number
didn't
9,
play
Virtua Fighter. You have to feel somewhat sorry for Sega. Back in 1993, they were bestowed some sort of power from the gaming gods as they figured out how to render a full 3D fighting game not soon after Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat were still being played religiously. Yes, these character models were primitive as hell, but back then, man, there was nothing else like it. 1 year later and we'd lay eyes on Tekken. And whilst the level of deep technical proficiency was never Tekken's claim to fame, it's hard to deny that despite getting there first, Virtua Fighter has played second fiddle to everything from Tekken to Mortal Kombat and even Dead or Alive ever since. If only Sega had gone back and perfected their character models, maybe it would be another story. Number 8, Def Jam Fight for New York. Now I have to get this in here that I am a humongous fan of Def Jam Fight for New York, and I still cannot believe that Vendetta was the last thing we saw. Back to the entry itself, and Def Jam Fight for New York is something of an anomaly. A fantastic Def Jam Vendetta sequel turned into more of a straight-up fighter than a wrestling spin-off. All of this resulted in gameplay that was absolutely outstanding, and yet it couldn't find a home. Of course, it didn't help that EA royally killed the franchise stone dead with Def Jam Icon, a woeful dance-to-do-damage directional shift that alienated fans and newcomers alike. Still, where once it looked as though Fight for New York had proven there could be an entire genre of 3D brawlers where you'd slam opponents' heads into environmental objects and bust out over-the-top finishes, the passion fans had completely fell away, and the majority of fighters we get today are still bolted onto 2D planes. I will totally.
It was a good game on the Cube, man. It was a good fighter.
To the brawler genre, just give me a whole bunch of environmental objects to throw dudes into. That stuff was fun, even in the Minority Report game, and yes, I know no one will ever believe me. Number 7, PsyOps: The Mindgate Conspiracy. In what felt like a literal meeting of the minds, 2 telekinetically powered titles were released within months of each other back in 2004. Free Radical's Second Sight took a stealthier approach to occasionally letting you mind slam a soldier or two off the walls, whereas Midway's PsyOps was a physics-based sandbox of unlimited potential. Years before Steam Greenlight would take off with any number of quirky ideas, and just as games were beginning to showcase the ragdoll physics-based delights of the Havoc physics engine, PsyOps let you pick up enemies and objects, emulate them, possess them, and so much more in between. The likes of Dishonored or Just Cause 2 would make their names on treating the AI like a plaything, but it was PsyOps that managed to build an entire game around manipulating not only your enemies, but chunks of the environment too. Exploring the world around you by flying around on a mind-controlled crate, lobbing a piece of a broken statue at foes like a giant deadly bowling ball, that was PsyOps, and it's criminal we never saw a sequel or even a remaster. Number 6, Dark Chronicle. There's something about developers level 5 that makes them the fans' choice of RPG developer. From Ni no Kuni to Dragon Quest, Yokai Watch to Dark Cloud, their ideas, characters, and worlds are exemplary. But you'll never catch someone mentioning them before Square Enix or Bethesda whenever asked about RPGs. Dark Chronicle then was the kitchen sink throwing sequel to PS2 launch title Dark Cloud. A stunning little game that adopted the zeitgeist of cel shading to color its gorgeous Studio Ghibli-esque world. Level 5 included a gigantic amount of game mechanics ranging from camera modes to procedurally generated dungeons, fishing to tactile real-time combat. Something that Final Fantasy to this day, including even number 15, has still not perfected. Almost a decade prior to Minecraft and 14 years before Dragon Quest Builders, Dark Chronicle also let you assemble a number of parts to custom build a series of villages.
I played this game. This was really good.
To the seemingly endless list of things to see and do. When later RPGs would adopt the same approach of just adding minigames to bulk everything out, it's worth remembering that Dark Chronicle did so with the utmost purpose, routing it all through a story and set of main characters that made everything make perfect sense. Number 5,
yeah, that was a pretty good game.
And Heavy Rain. Despite the likes of Gone Home, Firewatch, or Everybody's Gone to the Rapture being regarded as narrative heavyweights, it's Telltale's The Walking Dead that really takes the cake as far as revolutionizing how direct storytelling can meet with gameplay to form a full experience. Such critical acclaim tends to leapfrog David Cage and his contributions to the industry, mainly because thanks to Fahrenheit's god-awful back third, where you're tasked with fighting a physical manifestation of the internet, yes really, alongside Heavy Rain's terrible voice acting, his games never truly broke through to the mainstream. Still, in service of artistic expression, Cage was the first guy to recommend players don't actually play his titles more than once. Instead, he wanted you to live with your decisions, kinda like Telltale's games. And as for QuickTime events or on-screen button prompts guiding the occasional contextual animation, Cage's games had them in spades back when Telltale was still working on Sam & Max. Number 4, Sweet Home. You literally would not have Resident Evil without Sweet Home. It is that simple. Developed by Capcom but helmed by Tokaru Fujiwara, he would pioneer all sorts of survival horror staples such as item hoarding, exploration, puzzle solving, sporadic save states, and of course, a constant state of threat. When time came for Capcom to enter the 3D realm, Sweet Home became the base point, as Resident Evil was designed to ostensibly be a polygonal version of that initial vision. At the start of development, Capcom even made encounters first person just like in Sweet Home, and Resi's own Spencer Mansion was directly inspired by that game's location. Naturally, as time has gone on, we tend to look back at Resident Evil as the granddaddy of survival horror. And of course, it's true that Capcom perfected all those ideas with that first game, but you literally wouldn't have it or survival horror as a genre if not for Sweet Home. Number 3, Shenmue. For the longest time, developers were continually looking into various ways to enhance immersion. And for the record-setting budget of $70 million, the most expensive game ever made at the time, director Yu Suzuki set about crafting an epic tale where everything from stroking cats to picking up fully rendered pamphlets was interactable. This resulted in one of the most revered and culturally beloved games of all time, possibly the first ever AAA game too. But simply because of its interactive elements being so impossible to imitate, it would be years before any other titles would devote so much time, effort, and money into making an environment feel alive. The Yakuza series is a fairly close approximation of Sega continuing this overall design philosophy, and you can look to the likes of LA Noire or first-person horror titles in general to see gameplay mechanics made out of scouring the environment. Still, when people say there's nothing quite like Shenmue, it comes directly from its most pioneering features being a direct product of what wasn't around at the time. Honestly as well, considering all the advancements that we've made today, how the hell they replicate this with Shenmue 3, I can't even begin to imagine. Number 2, Metal Gear Solid. Obviously, Metal Gear is far from being an underrated game, but it's easy to forget that underneath all those crazy plot lines and robo-dinosaur boss battles is a directorial flourish that showed video games can easily rival Hollywood, and then some. Crafted by auteur Hideo Kojima, he showed how to bring a level of cinematic immersion, storytelling, actually great voice acting performances from memorable characters, all elements that would force the industry's developers to sit up and notice. There's barely a story-driven game today that doesn't owe its methods, camera placement, cutscene direction, character presentation, or overall feeling of cinematic quality to Metal Gear Solid. And all of that is worth remembering. Number 1, Crysis. The game that looked at your measly home computer setup and laughed a hearty laugh.
You think you can run me on that?
As developers, Crytek cared not one bit that only a fraction of the populace would ever see the full potential of what they'd created. Instead, they just wanted to make the most graphically impressive game of them all for what was available at the time. To some degree, you can kinda blame Crysis for the obsession many gamers now have on frantically buying up the latest graphics cards or consoles just to match whatever top specs are available. Here was a game that no two people would be able to have the same experience with. It fostered the sort of, well, if you tweak this, then this can go higher, but oh, what about this mentality that you see with vinyl collectors forever chasing a warmer tone or a better setup for that over-the-rainbow perfect listen. Before the escapist Yahtzee Croshaw would label the PC master race accordingly, Crysis had already laid the foundations for the aesthetic arm race that was to come. And that's my list. Let me know down in the comments below if there were any other underrated games that just felt way
This what culture gaming is terrible, but I'm just looking for something to watch.
2019 was one hell of a year for anime as hit franchises like Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia and One Punch Man made successful comebacks. There were also plenty of new shows like Vinland Saga and The Promised Neverland that won our otaku hearts and left us wanting more. With the year almost over, we look forward to 2020, and January promises to be blazing hot. With a slew of manga and light novel series getting their anime adaptations and a few old favorites returning to take their stories forward, it looks like it's going to be a happy new year. We couldn't ask for more. So here are our picks for the top 10 most anticipated anime of winter 2020. Coming in at number 10, a university student takes a break from studying and enters the fantasy world of the mega-hit video game Infinite Dendrogram. The anime is based on a fairly new Japanese light novel series that received a manga adaptation in 2018. Set in Tokyo in 2045, Infinite Dendrogram's taken over the world as the most realistic VR game out there, one that promises to make its players experience the 5 senses as if they're real. This virtual world's filled with monsters, demons, powerful weapons, and other magical beings. Fans of the novel say the virtual world within the game feels incredibly real, which in their opinion sets the novel apart from many others in the video game fantasy genre. Will the anime manage to successfully blur the lines between fantasy and reality? We recommend you watch to find out.
Hell yeah. Finally, realistic 13-year-old anime girls. My video game.
Now, don't let the title mislead you. This one has nothing to do with the cute, furry friends we keep at home. Instead, it's about a group of psychic individuals who enter the minds of others and manipulate their memories, often to commit crimes and influence decisions with criminal consequences. The wielders of this ability are called pets. Going simply by its trailer, this anime seems to be just the thing for fans of the bizarre and the weird. The supernatural psychological genre is a veritable goldmine of brilliantly bizarre anime such as Psycho Pass, Death Note, Erased, and Parasite, and is set to air on Amazon Prime Video this January. Another manga to anime adaptation coming to us in the first month of 2020 is Plunderer, which comes in at number 8. The story set in Alcia, where numbers rule the residents' lives. Each person has a count, and this decides not just their social status, but also their existence. When the count drops to 0, that's it for the person. A world of numbers is fairly unexplored territory in anime and manga, which makes the central theme of Plunderer rather interesting. The show follows the journey of a young girl as she sets out to fulfill her mother's last wish, aided by a handsome masked hero. The bright visuals seem to be in vivid contrast with the anime's dark-sounding title. A first look at Plunderer promises a big dollop of fantasy, adventure, action, and even some romance.
Definitely looks like it was inspired by One Piece.
The next entry on our list is the story of a young girl who finds a father figure in a golem or guardian of the forest. Somali and the forest spirit set in a world ruled by spirits, goblins, and strange creatures, where humans are persecuted and driven to near extinction. From the looks of it, the animations captured the visuals of an enchanted world in outstanding fashion, and a heartwarming tale of a father-daughter bond never fails to tug at the heartstrings now, does it? Did someone say Mushishi Mitsusagi drop? Somali and the forest spirits, also another retelling of the classic anime theme of humanity in decline, explored ever so brilliantly in Attack on Titan. But this one promises to be utterly different by taking a more slice-of-life approach. With its stunning visuals and cast of fabulous creatures, will this be one of 2020's big anime hits? We'll find out soon enough.
More magical girls?
At the halfway mark now, and the next anime on our list is Madoka Magica's side story, Magia Record. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Scheduled for January, this is based on a 2017 smartphone game and serves as a spin-off to Madoka Magica from 2011. Magia Records expected to follow the game's storyline and introduces a new heroine, Iroha Tamaki, a magical girl in search of her missing sister. The magical girl subgenre in anime is immensely popular, and the Madoka Magica franchise is no exception. The original anime spawned
heard
manga
about it.
adaptations, video games, and a film series, so I guess it's only natural then that for fans of magical girls who fight evil witches with the help of their doppels, the anticipation of Magia Records sky high.
That sentence. That fucking sentence right there.
From magical girls and witches, we move on to monsters, demons, and spirits. Coming in at number 5, it's Inspector. Inspector tells the story of Kotoko Iwanaga, a 17-year-old girl who communicates with otherworldly creatures that don't always play nice. Helping her in her quest is university student Kuro Sakuragawa. The anime is based on a supernatural light novel that's also been turned into a manga published by Kodansha Comics for English audiences. Can Kotoko help solve the problems of the supernatural world in her role as God of Wisdom, while also keeping the peace between spirits and humans? And will she win the heart of Kuro, whom she's fallen in love with at first sight? Inspector follows in the footsteps of shows like Kami-sama Kiss and Kakurio Bed and Breakfast for Spirits, though with one marked difference. Unlike the male protagonists in these other anime who are all yokai or demons, Kuro's very much human. Mystery and monsters all in one anime. What's not to like about that? Darwin's Game's another online game genre show that makes the cut at number 4 on our list of anticipated winter 2020 anime. In Darwin's Game, an ordinary high schooler clicks on a strange mobile app and gets sucked into a deadly game where players wield supernatural powers. Sounds familiar enough now, doesn't it? Accompanying him on this game of life or death battles with no option to quit is a veteran player whose blonde pigtails and frilly red dress contradict her fighting prowess. The anime is based on a survival battle manga series with the same title. Will Darwin's Game replicate the success of other online game-based anime? Some fan
That sounds good. Yo, that sounds good too. I love the lineup for winter 2019. What the fuck? Why are we having such good anime now this year? This is some good lineup. I have to actually like watch this dude's not curated fucking video.
The main leads and the Sword Art
good.
Online's Kirito and Asuna, who may well be the most famous couple of this genre. While such a comparison may be premature at this moment,
they're so awful.
Never hurts, does it?
Honestly, I can't watch a bunch of this anime that he's referring to as the de facto. It's so cheesy and
Season
cringy.
3 of A Certain Scientific Railgun. As we start the countdown to the top, what makes this anime different from others is that it's the first sequel on the list. Season 3 of A Certain Scientific Railgun comes 6 years after the second season. Fans of the series will remember this tale of supernaturally powered high school students called Espers who live in Academy City, a place that's said to be at the forefront of scientific development, but where things aren't always what they seem. The central character, Mikoto Misaka, can manipulate electricity and is the titular railgun. Like the earlier seasons, Season 3 will also be produced by JC Staff, the studio behind hit animes such as Food Wars and Toradora, as well as A Certain Magical Index and A Certain Scientific Accelerator from the same franchise as A Certain Scientific Railgun.
What a bunch of awful, certain scientifically bad names. Oh, they made Dorohedoro?
But delighting its fans nonetheless is the anime adaptation of the 2000 manga Dorohedoro. This anime is set in a post-apocalyptic world called The Hole, whose human residents live wretched lives. They're tortured, killed, and experimented upon by magic users who come from a different dimension.
This was a good one. I read this one.
Is an amnesiac, dumpling-loving human with the head of a lizard. The story chronicles his mission to find the sorcerer whose experiment
What's going on,
is
Opium?
far from human appearance. Fans of the manga have long praised it.
Yeah, this is a good list.
Style,
Like,
well-thought-out characters and fast-paced.
this is all new anime. This is all coming out like this winter, so or it has already started to come out.
Bouncing straight in.
I don't know if I like the
is
sport,
highly
so.
anticipated 4th season of the smash hit volleyball anime Haikyuu. This story
Volleyball anime? Yeah, I don't know
Killers is a
if
fan
that's...
favorite, and not just among admirers of sports anime. Season 3 from 3 years ago set the bar high with plenty of thrills and character development. Despite the plot being a single match stretched over 10 episodes, there was never a dull moment.
Wow,
Will season
a
4
single
live up
match
to the
over
hype
10.
As Hinata and the boys from
they could pull it
Karasuno
off.
head to Tokyo for the Nationals, will the once mighty Crows take flight again? If you want to know, keep your game face on when January rolls in. So there you have it, the 10 anime we're most excited about as we usher in winter 2020.
I liked 10 through 2.
It's all happening in January. Please leave a like if this video was useful to you. I'd really appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel for more exciting anime news and lists. I'll see you next time.
That's right. They are not the best. The other ones looked really good. I'm probably gonna go read the manga. I'm gonna leave this video up so I can see what the list was. What was somebody in the comments give me a list, right? Oh well, I'm definitely gonna read that one manga. I've been looking for another manga to read. I just finished Neverland. I do a lot of times, like, if the anime is good and I haven't read the manga, then I'll watch all of the anime up until it's caught up, and then I have to go read the manga. I have to keep the story going. I gotta read every bit of it. Like Overlord, watched the anime, and then went and read all the light novels. Because they're up to like 14. It's like 4 times farther than the anime. The anime, by the time the anime catches up to the story, I'm likely to be dead. So I went for it, man. Every time. I usually use mangadex.org. I think that's a pretty good site. Lets you make a list of everything that you're watching and keep track of what chapter you're on. So, because there's like a billion different mangas that all get canceled or put on hiatus and all sorts of different stuff. So that's really, I like that website a lot for keeping up with it. But it's hard to, like, after the first year, like the first year you get into anime, wow, you have so many good stories. But then after you read through all the popular series, all of the secondary series, once you start like digging, it gets harder to find stuff you haven't read. I think that there's some stuff I need to catch up on now, though. Oh wait, I dropped the wrong ring. I want to drop this one and take this one, because that's the Ring of Revenge. Give me a Transcendent. Let me see, what was this next video I had up. That was a good list. I'm going to tuck into that and see what light novels I can find, because I'm hungry for some books.
If you haven't been tracking how much video games have become ginormous, lumbering, conflicted projects over the years, it goes without saying that they don't always come together.
Oh wait, is this a bit loud?
That's true enough for gameplay, but also plot. Because when you've got literally hundreds of people working,
there we go. I'll do that.
Gameplay, etc., it's no surprise that continuity and basic logic can slip through the cracks. While all these games are entertaining enough that these plot holes can be ignored, it doesn't mean that they haven't tormented committed fans ever since release. From plot invalidating inconsistencies,
maybe that's
that you can't
slightly too tiny. Let me just bump it up a hair.
Characterizations that make no sense, fans had to simply grit their teeth and try to forget, or at least ignore, such obvious lapses in storytelling. If you want to preserve your untarnished memories of some classic video game stories and moments, this is your last chance to turn back. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 stupidly obvious video game plot holes you just had to ignore. Also, spoilers for a whole bunch of games, check the description below for details. Number 10, why wasn't Scott arrested for the mansion killing spree? Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain is, in fairness, a game with its fair share of eyebrow-raising narrative inconsistencies. What with one of the game's playable characters, private investigator Scott Shelby, turning out to be the origami killer himself in a continuity-derailing plot twist. But even accepting that Shelby is presented as an unreliable narrator, there's one bothersome scene near the end of the game that just beggars belief. Shelby heads to Charles Kramer's mansion and shoots several of Kramer's bodyguards dead, while the player is given the option of letting Kramer die of a heart attack or saving his life. Yet, even if the player saves Kramer, Shelby's violent slaughter is immediately disregarded, and despite Kramer's ability to point out Shelby to the police, he's never reported to the cops. If you get the ending where Shelby escapes scot-free, it seems even more absurd, especially in a game so intently focused on the consequences of every character's actions. Number 9. Aiden is retconned to be King Leoric's son. Diablo 3. The protagonist of the first 2 Diablo games is simply known as the Dark Wanderer, until Diablo 3 came along and forced a heap of contrived retconning upon a fanbase already displeased by the game's always online DRM and auction house
Wait.
shenanigans. Despite the first 2 games...
Wait a second. Are you about to tell me they fucked up the awesome Diablo story of the devil being the Dark Wanderer and just wandering the fuck around? Oh no. Oh no. Okay, let's hear it.
Games firmly establishing that King Leoric had just one son called Albrecht, Diablo 3 rejigs these facts to reveal that not only does Leoric have another second son, but this new child is none other than the series' original protagonist, the Dark Wanderer himself. In a further unnecessary demystification, it turns out his real name is Aiden. Not only is Diablo 3's story almost totally unaffected by this reveal, therefore rendering it kinda pointless, but it actively forces the player to reconsider the series' established lore in pretty awkward ways. Namely, what the hell was Aiden doing when his dad went mad prior to the events of the first game? Given that not a single character recognizes the Dark Wanderer is Leoric's son in the first 2 games, it retroactively makes the original Diablo in particular seem totally ridiculous. Number 8. How did Claire and Leon enter the quarantined Raccoon City? Resident Evil 2. One of the most nagging plot holes in the Resident Evil franchise regards the ease with which Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield are both able to enter Raccoon City.
I felt like this was addressed in the
This is
remake.
in spite of the fact that Resident Evil 3, which partially takes place roughly 24 hours before the second game, reveals that the city had been quarantined and blockaded to prevent people from leaving or entering by the military. After years of fan hand-wringing, Resident Evil 3 scenario writer Yasuhisa Kawamura rustled up his own excuse in 2012, claiming the heroes were able to slip through the blockade when the military retreated during a zombie attack. That is kinda a pretty lousy excuse, and while the plot hole hardly derails the franchise, it does signify a major logical contradiction between the second and third games. Number 7. How does Haytham know Connor is his son? Assassin's Creed 3. The twisty lore of the Assassin's Creed franchise has always been rather on the eccentric side, though the third game left fans especially bemused with its treatment of protagonist Connor and his father Haytham Kenway. One of the game's most memorable scenes occurs in Sequence 9, where father and son meet up in an old church, and curiously, Haytham seems to magically know that Connor is his son, despite this never being indicated beforehand. The game's Animus database even flat out states that Connor's mother Zio kept his existence a secret from Haytham, so when he shows up to the scene armed with this knowledge, it's incredibly jarring. There's no real excuse for this sort of thing, yet it's also not much of a secret that AC3's development was extremely troubled, and so it's pretty impressive that the end result mostly turned out as well as it did. Also, FYI, if you're a secret Assassin's Creed 3 fan, the remake from this year is actually pretty damn solid. Number 6. Snake didn't need to crawl through the microwave corridor. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. One of Metal Gear Solid 4's most iconic moments occurs in the game's climax, where Old Snake drags himself through a microwave corridor in order to reach the GW server room. And while it's a tremendously powerful and overwhelmingly epic moment at the time, it doesn't really stand up to much narrative or logical scrutiny when you consider that the Metal Gear Mark III ends up doing almost all of the work to shut down GW in the end. Snake puts himself through a grueling experience while Mark III seems to deal with the microwaves just fine. We know that the Mark III can use terminals and operate machinery, so why did dear old Snake have to fry himself half to death? The argument from fans is that Snake needed to hold off the Scarabs from attacking the Mark III while it uploaded the worm to disrupt GW. But did we also forget that the Mark III has an electric whip? The Mark III is a copy of the Mark II after all, and we were shocking dudes left and right for hours beforehand. It's far more probable that Hideo Kojima concocted the incredible visual of this scene and then wrote the story around it, which is kinda his thing, but it rarely makes for a coherent, meaningful script. Number 5. Why didn't the clock tower accident alert anyone? Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. One of the more memorable set pieces in Naughty Dog's brilliant Uncharted 4: A Thief's End is Chapter 11's epic clock tower sequence, where Nate needs to climb to the top of the tower and ring a gigantic bell in order to proceed. This results in a predictable ton of property damage, ending with gigantic gears breaking apart and the bell itself crashing to the ground, only barely avoiding Nate himself. The scene makes it abundantly clear that this calamity was noisy as hell, and given that the exterior Madagascar streets were shown to be extremely busy just minutes beforehand, it's completely impossible to believe that nobody would investigate the building following such thunderous commotion. Instead, Nate and Sully are freely able to proceed through the building and complete a puzzle for the next 20 or so minutes without encountering a single other person. And if you want to take it any further, the insane volume of this whole thing should have made both men deaf for life. Number 4. How did a single necromorph slaughter the USM Valor? Dead Space. The original Dead Space is a masterpiece of claustrophobic tension, and one of its more distinctive moments sees protagonist Isaac Clarke learning that an incoming rescue vessel, the USM Valor, has picked up an escape pod containing another necromorph and become overrun. However, anyone who's played a Dead Space game will scarcely be able to believe that a single slasher-type necromorph would be able to run riot in a destroyer-class vessel, annihilating all 67 of its crew members. Even accepting the element of surprise that the necromorph may have had, it's highly implausible that a single slasher could dismantle everyone on board before they could destroy it. Especially as without an infector on board, there was no way to quickly spread the contagion throughout the rest of the ship. Fans have long debated how the Valor was able to fall so easily, but ultimately it's easier to just spare your sanity and your time and pawn it off as because video games. Number 3.
Yeah, that sounds
why didn't
right.
Cloud revive Aerith? Final Fantasy VII. Perhaps the most famous plot hole in video game history is one compounded by its sheer emotional impact. Aerith's unexpected death in Final Fantasy VII left players shook to the core, but once they wiped away the tears and took a few deep breaths, many began to question just why Cloud couldn't have used a Phoenix Down to bring her back. Now, even if you accept that Phoenix Downs are only able to rouse someone from unconsciousness rather than actual death, what about revive materia? That stuff is perfectly capable of cancelling death states, a fact that's curiously glossed over for the sake of some emotionally shattering drama. Granted, the Final Fantasy franchise's grasp on its own internal logic, especially as it pertains to magic and life or death, is loose at best. But even so, it's easy to understand why an urban legend persisted for so long that there was a way to bring Aerith back to life. Because to that end, why the hell was she shown looking up at the Highwind in the game's instructions? Just why? Number 2, why didn't anyone catch tuberculosis from Arthur? Red Dead Redemption 2. Later on in Red Dead Redemption 2, steely protagonist Arthur Morgan learns that he's contracted tuberculosis and has a limited time left to live, eventually leading to his death at the end of the game. But what's baffling about this is that despite the highly contagious nature of tuberculosis, Arthur doesn't appear to infect anybody else, even while continuing to live, eat, drink, sleep, and use the bathroom at a very crowded camp. Given that TB killed 1.7 million people worldwide as of 2017, the notion that Arthur didn't spread his illness to his pals well over 100 years prior is kinda just crazy. It doesn't ruin such a masterful game, but it's a peculiar oversight in an otherwise detail-rich work of art. Even just a few brief glimpses of campers coughing and sputtering occasionally would have sewn this plot hole up nicely. And number 1, the Space Pirate Logs, Metroid Prime. The first Metroid Prime is just brilliant, but the original GameCube release shipped with a plot hole nagging enough that it was actually removed from subsequent releases. At the very end of the game, Samus finally encounters the titular monster, a gigantic spider-like creature equipped with mechanical weaponry, which in-game logs in the original NTSC release suggest were assimilated from the Space Pirates. Except this directly contradicts logs elsewhere in the game, which claim that the Space Pirates were unable to pass the Impact Crater's force field and reach Metroid Prime in the first place. If Samus is the first person to breach the crater, what the hell is going on? Thankfully, Retro Studios kinda fixed this issue for both the PAL release a few months later and 2009's Metroid Prime Trilogy re-release, wiping any mention of the final boss from the Space Pirates logs. However, that still doesn't explain where the Metroid Prime received its mechanical weaponry from. Thankfully, the game is incredible enough that most fans were just happy to let it go. Because let's be honest, Samus is a badass. And that is a rundown of just a handful of stupidly obvious video game plot holes that we all kinda put to the back of our minds so that we could get on with the...
In the gaming world, weird stuff happens all the time, and November was a goldmine for it. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, weird gaming stories from November 2019. Starting off at number 10, a RuneScape player identified a glitch which duplicated items And in a game that has an economy like RuneScape, that's basically a total nuke to the very center. So the way that this works is you deliberately crash the server, which will revert the character you're playing as back to 15 minutes before the crash or whatever the last save state was. However, the problem here is that a lot of the trades that are executed during this 15-minute window stick. What's even stranger is the person who raised the bug to the public, Rendy, a YouTuber, had a really tough time getting Jagex, the developer of RuneScape, to take it seriously. Now, ultimately, it did get fixed fairly quickly, but it's basically because Rendy was able to get a lot of attention to the bug. And basically, this is very good because doing one of these server crashes could apparently duplicate about a fifth of all the money in the entire economy, which would have really hyperinflated the prices of everything very quickly. And that would obviously not be good. Moving on to number 9, a Russian farm adapted a bunch of virtual reality headsets to fit onto cows. Yeah,
Okay.
that really happened. That's weird enough. It's actually not super weird once you get into the reasons why and find out that it actually worked, but just saying the words VR for cows, it's weird. So at dairy farms, cows often have anxiety because dairy farms often kinda suck. They're not exactly great experiences for cows. So this farm decided to strap VR headsets on the cows and show them a summer field simulation program, which apparently boosted the mood of the herd. Now, while that's nice, it's certainly good to boost the mood of the herd. It also kind of makes what they're doing sound awful because when we think dairy farm, we think fields, don't we? Dairy farm apparently now means warehouse full of cows stacked in with each other with a simulation of a field. Which, I mean, we're literally talking about the cow matrix here. That's the actual matrix for cows. Moving on to number 8, a guy sued NetEase and his friend over him allowing his friend to borrow a character he'd spent $1.4 million
Oh, I heard about this on
the game Justice Online, and apparently his friend spent some kind of deposit on it because he was trying to sell it back to the $1.4 million guy for $55,000, except for he did a typo and sold it to somebody by accident for $552. And this whole thing was settled, in which the character did get returned to the guy who spent $1.4 million on the character, which I guess is okay, except for the fact that it's possible to spend that kind of money on a MMORPG character. I'm not worried about this guy. He apparently has money to spend like that on not only game characters, but court cases around game characters. But the friend that he lent the character to had to pay out a settlement to the guy he sold the character to by accident in the amount of $13,000. Now, I actually don't think we're talking about a game addict. I think we're talking about rich people having game characters, but I just find it super strange that it's even possible to spend that kind of money on a character. No, the world is bad now. Moving on to number 7, Reggie Fils-Aimé retired a few months ago from his position at Nintendo. Now, Reggie has gotten the same question his entire career about Mother 3, which, as you know, is a sequel to Mother, which is Earthbound. Everybody loves Earthbound, everybody cares a lot. Everybody wants Mother 3 localized ASAP. Now, Reggie did a lecture at Cornell University recently, and afterwards he had a Q&A session. And despite the fact he's not really involved anymore, was still asked about Mother 3. Specifically, a fan asked him about if the West would ever get Mother 3. His answer was basically, "I'm pretty happy I'm no longer involved in that decision." Now, apparently Mother 3 contains some controversial elements that they would have to engage in some controversy if releasing it in the US. I've never played Mother 3. I've never played a fan translation, but there was quite a tone of relief in the answer given, despite the fact that, as Reggie says, he loves Earthbound quite a bit. Coming in at number 6, Yuji Naka, the creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, is still a little put off by the Sonic that they basically fixed. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I think that it's fine. I think that the Sonic that they made for the new one is fine. I'm not gonna complain about it, personally. The original was hilarious. Seemed like a prank, it was so bad. And now we have one that pretty much looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. if you draw this version, it's basically gonna look like any drawing of Sonic. Yuji Naka still thinks there's something off though, and I'm gonna go ahead and say I think it's probably the fact that they separated his eyeballs. That's probably the biggest change from the actual traditional Sonic. However, I don't necessarily think that's a bad change. Yuji Naka says actually, they've been kind enough to give him gloves, but like I expected, they didn't connect the eyes. This just makes the design feel off. He did say still I'm looking forward to the movie, which I have to imagine, just given the bizarre premise, it's at least going to be interesting. Moving on to number 5, somebody figured out how to do a 12-minute speedrun of The Outer Worlds. In fact, the speedrunner that accomplished it, Creeper Hunter, actually managed to get it down to 11 minutes 13 seconds. And actually the trick to doing it is making sure a character has extremely low intelligence. This lets you skip some sections of the game as well as launch the colony ship into the sun. Now there's actually a really cool video in which the devs watch the 12-minute speedrun and comment on it, and it's super interesting seeing all of their thoughts as to what he's doing as he's doing the speedrun, because they surprise the devs a number of times by doing something that just seems completely out of the realm of their thoughts.
Okay. Sold. I'm watching that. Let's go take a look. We'll come back to this video in just a minute. Sold. I like the look of your window, sir. Allow me to buy some goods. See, devs react to Outer World speedrun. That's probably it, right?
All that was just running around, taking damage, waiting for the elevator to get there, which we put in to stall you, so you probably have to fight those people.
He showed us.
Yeah. His character may be dumb, but I'm feeling pretty stupid.
Uh-oh. What's she running for? Girlfriend just took off running.
Yes, the speed run by Creeper Hunter.
Have you noticed half of the speed run is in Edgewater? It's just incredible. It's like once they get out of Edgewater, they bypass all of the wonderful content.
Well, some of the stuff they do are things that I would have assumed some players would be able to do, but they exploited it very efficiently. Like the whole Byzantium, going to Byzantium first thing.
Yeah, but getting it to open locked doors, I never knew they'd be able to do that.
Yeah.
I do wonder when I watch this, how many times has this guy played before we're doing a speed run?
This seems like it'd be so stressful. You know, you're 5 minutes in, just being like, oh my god, if I screw up now.
Yep. I mean, yeah, he just ran by 3 or 4 guys with guns. 6. And he takes damage falling instead of being shot.
When I was testing, I always used to do this. I would run past them all and just get onto the ship.
Please be informed that this vessel contains no... Hello, please. What...
Is this normal difficulty? Do we know?
I didn't notice what he set it to, but I know he's dumb.
His
Well, his
character,
character-
not the speedrunner. Oh, interesting. Oh,
Yeah, he's less than 2 minutes into the game, and he already has the main quest. He's been on the ship, he has the main quest, and he's not even going to Edgewater. In fact, I think he's just running by these outlaws.
I'm really interested to see how he handles Edgewater, because you have to go to Reed to get the passcode. That's like the one hard gate I thought we put in.
The way I've seen them do it in the past is they kill Reed and get it off his computer.
I know, but he's going to Adelaide first?
Is he, or is he just going to the geothermal plant?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know that you can get into the geothermal plant.
But in a lot of speedruns, they go to places so they get fast travel points. They, like, collect them.
Ah.
Oh, but maybe no.
No, that makes sense. I think you're right, because now he's going back to Edgewater.
You're right.
Oh, he wanted the fast travel. That's probably the quickest way to get that fast travel point. So
It's faster to run to the geothermal plant and back to Edgewater.
Oh, that makes sense.
That means he didn't get to talk to Silas.
He's not talking to anybody. Have you watched all of this before, or is this your first time?
I skimmed through it because I wanted to get the gist of it, but I didn't notice that. But I didn't. I wanted to see how he ended.
So do you know? Because my bet is that he goes right in there and kills Reed. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, Reed has
And
seconds.
Pavarti.
Reed has seconds to live, and he doesn't even know it.
Wonderful elevator music precedes death.
I don't think he's appreciating our elevator music.
And now everybody dies.
No, he didn't.
I could have sworn the computer was the fastest way. And that's it. And then he fast traveled back.
Yep.
Did you see how he got in?
Yep.
He jumped over the fence. I'd never seen somebody do it that way before.
I think I have actually done it that way when testing.
Oh, I didn't think you could jump over that fence.
Well, I know we put in the hole in the fence so on the other side.
Is he even shooting anything? No.
Only when he has to. Or did he?
He just pressed that lever and ran on.
No, the mechanical outside.
So does he go talk to Thomas? Nope.
Of course not. That's a side quest. That's gonna.
He just ran through the steam.
Wait, did he throw the?
Yeah, he just runs by it and throws it real fast.
He throws it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think.
I think he just hits E and just keeps going.
Yeah.
So let's see where he sends the power to. Wait,
So are those numbers?
he
up
didn't
there?
divert the power.
Are those numbers up there speed runs for each of the areas?
It's the maximum time he's going to spend in each area.
Oh, I thought those were maybe the records that other people had established.
He actually fast traveled back in here to reset the robots.
It was quicker to go out and go back in the front door than it was for him to run all the way back to the. That's pretty amazing.
And he didn't even bother spending his level up points.
So that means you have to.
Look how he's getting out.
That means you have to time running from the interior back to it, and then be like, no, it's actually quicker if I leave the building and fast travel.
No, do you know why he did that? He did that to clear the combat flag. You can't use computers when there's a combat flag. So he literally thought it was faster to load, and I don't think they count load screens in the time. So he just basically, that was a free combat flag wipe. He's level 4 and has yet to spend a point. And then he fast traveled back to the ship.
Yep.
Oops, I need to go get my 4th item.
And wisely didn't take Parvati so she doesn't slow him down with the automatic conversations.
Doesn't even talk to Ada, just goes and repairs the ship immediately. Takes damage here. Oh, I always take damage when I jump off that ledge. Skips the wonderful cutscene.
Yeah, whatever, Phineas. We don't have time for this.
So where does he go?
He goes to Groundbreaker.
Do you think he's going to kill Gladys or Ud? I think he talks to Udom.
You have to talk to Udon because you have to get him to... That's an easy one, though. You're just going to skip through that conversation because he'll unlock your ship no matter what. But...
I wonder if he used an SSD.
We're already halfway through.
Or he's editing out the loads.
Oh.
Nope, Gladys. Oh, he's not going to kill Gladys, is he? Don't kill Gladys. Oh, he's going to steal all the stuff and run away before they...
Oh, did they not go to... Because they didn't see him because he hid.
Oh, he had lockpicked it before it Being to identified state. Wow. Why is he going to Udom?
Make a note of that one.
He's leveling up so fast.
Well, you have to go to Udom to unlock your ship. Oh, and he gave Udom the his seal before he.
Oh, that's what he got out of the.
Yeah. But so yeah, it's possible to get into a state where you can.
So Bambi goes right to Byzantium.
Yep, you can pick the lock on that safe without ever being caught.
Wow, I thought you had to use TTD or something, but
no, we just there's a blind spot right there that they found.
How did he?
That's pretty genius. How did he what?
He got caught by her and then somehow reloaded. I don't really understand what happened there.
Yeah, I missed that one.
What's amazing is he's already more than halfway through his run.
Yep.
That's incredible. Yeah. See, look, he tries to pickpocket him. He comes over, opens the door. Bam, he's inside Rockwell's office.
That's pretty genius.
But he's missing out on such wonderful narrative and storytelling.
I know.
And then he just fast travels back.
He loses style points for that in my book, but you know.
Welcome back. Do wipe the blood and footstones from your feet in the entry bay.
Why did he run? He spent extra time picking up the disguise.
Maybe he needs it for the hope, to get through the hope quicker.
But then he went back to the office. Oh, he's going to get the chemicals.
Yeah, you have to. Oh, okay, yeah.
Hey, how's it going,
I
Ray?
don't remember what gates we put where. Like, he has to go talk to Phineas after he gets the chemicals.
By the way, I do the same thing. I always jump over that reception.
It's a sign of good level design.
Yep. That receptionist can't block me. And where did he get the key from? Because he never talked to the Earth. Was the key also in President Rockwell's office?
Yeah, if you get into Rockwell's office, because our theory was that you had to talk to you had to go to the minister to get into that office.
Do you know what he did right there? That elevator's not available. So he throws the switch and then he just runs around waiting for the elevator to appear. All that was just running around, taking damage, waiting for the elevator to get there, which we put in to stall you, so you probably have to fight those people.
He showed us.
Yeah. His character may be dumb, but I'm feeling pretty stupid. And you can quote me on that.
Well, as we said, we always went to you for the best dumb lines.
Yes, you did say that. It was such an honor.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Did he have this meticulously planned out from like playing it millions of times, or did he watch other streamers? And
Well, he's going through the dialogue so quickly, he must know exactly what keys.
Well, yeah, there's definitely that, but there's also like the way he even moves through the levels.
He's 2 minutes from the end.
I know he's optimizing every step he takes. I mean, to get to the very specific, like how he jumped over the tanks to get to the tanks to get to the computer there.
His path.
Yeah, of course he is. No, I'm still playing Crypto, mate. This is Forgotten Artifacts. Just watching some YouTube videos while we play.
It's the first time he's ever talked to Phineas.
And he's, what, 2 minutes and some seconds away from being done.
This game I'm playing is a crypto game. You get crypto just for playing it, basically.
Can you hear me?
But I want to catch the end into this real quick.
Ongoing experiments and securing myself. Mind the mess, sir.
Okay, so we'll have to get through this conversation and say, yeah, I've already got everything.
I wonder if I grabbed the shrink ray.
I'm really happy that doesn't break. Like that this works.
Narrative was solid.
Wait, why is he?
I don't know. Can you not tap through this?
That was weird.
Yeah. If he had an extra 3 seconds, he should have grabbed the shrink ray.
What's he wasting time for? Yep, so there goes the hope.
But we know how this is going to end. Dumbly.
So does he have to use the disguise to get through the hope? Is that why I went up to the captain's room?
That's true. I don't know. So far, he hasn't used a disguise.
No. He's level 7.
He's going to finish the game at level 7.
He's going so quickly we can't even follow what cheats he's using. Yeah, see, he needed the disguise.
Otherwise, these people would probably shoot him to death
Yeah.
because they're like level... The lowest level they can be, I think, is 16 or 20.
Yep.
I'm assuming he bought additional sprint speed, but I never saw him do it.
Do you hear me, Captain? I have successfully integrated myself into the host impact, and am attempting to establish contact with the host's more primitive processor now.
He is 45 seconds from being done.
Suitable music selection.
It's because he skips it into the sun. I want to see a speed run. Not taking away from the speed run at all, but I really want to see a speed run that goes all the way through Tartarus.
A non-dumb speed run.
Yeah, a non-dumb speed run. What's interesting, I wonder if the dumb things get you through the conversations quicker at all. Probably not. Not significantly.
And there it is.
That is impressive. I think the most impressive thing for me was how specifically he went through areas.
Are you also proud of your dumb storyline? You know what I mean.
Yes. I am proud that we let you skip the hope into the sun. And yes, we do consider it a legitimate end, but I was disappointed that that was how the speed run ended, only because I wanted to see the Tartarus run.
It is curious. I'm curious what the non-dumb speed record is.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone's done that yet. Have we looked at that? And there it is.
How many games let you do this? I'm just gonna fling myself into the sun. What a great ending.
I've heard of a couple games that let you do kind of things that theoretically the game doesn't want you to do that then ends the game.
Ta-da! And roll credits.
That was
a good little run. That was a good little run. Yo, I like that. I like having the devs respond to everything. So yeah, this is Forgotten Artifacts, mate. The items that you pick up in the dungeon are actually ERC 20 or ERC 721 tokens, something like that. I forget off the top of my head right now what the I think it's 721, but basically they're Ethereum tokens backed by Engine, and so they can be worth a little bit, worth nothing to a little bit. That's pretty much all it is. And you just run around, kill some monsters, hit the chest, and get some blockchain items. So that's pretty much the theme of this stream, dude, is we just play games, get crypto, get some money. Gonna drop the, we don't need the harvester anymore, we don't need the extra health pots. I'm gonna take the extra items. I'm trying to grab, so these items that I have down here, my legendaries and everything, they're already good to go. I have them with me, they're just here to help me get through the dungeon, but the extra ones that I'm picking up as they drop here, that little guitar riff, those items, I'm trying to make it to the 4th floor and survive. Take those items with me, put them in my vault, and when the next patch hits and all the items are minted, because right now there's a little bug with the latest patch, so these items are being minted at the moment, I'll be able to use them in a bunch of quests that were recently added. So, pretty cool stuff going on. And let me see, what were we watching?
This is often what speedrunners have to do. Like, devs don't typically create a speedrun version of the game for people to find. I would highly recommend watching that video. It's just so interesting listening to devs like ask questions in real time as this is going on.
Absolutely.
Also, well done, Creeper Hunter. Coming in at number 4, modders Dante and Razor greatly expanded the co-op in Devil May Cry 5. Now, if you are aware of how the co-op currently works in the official version of the game, there's a kind of cameo system that allows for a limited 3-player co-op in various sections of the game, but the presence of this system was taken advantage by these two modders, and they were actually able to create a mod that integrates it into all of the game. It goes as far to make the pause menu into a floating menu so it doesn't interrupt the play of any of the players. and even gives you some graphics options that are really only actually supposed to be present during cutscenes. And overall, it's awesome. In fact, the thing that I would call weird about this is that this isn't stuff that was included in the game in the first place. If you got the tech, just let people play the levels in co-op. It's great. Moving on to number 3, and this may not seem weird to you, but it actually kind of is, given the
It does sound really good. Fuck, I wish I had a friend
in
to
the
play.
video game industry. But
Man, my mate, before he committed suicide, he loved the Devil May Cry series, like loved it to death. We'd be playing the fuck out of that mod, that's for sure.
Hideo Kojima says that his company, Kojima Productions, will eventually make films. And like I said, if you
No shit, he's gonna make films.
This is not a strange thing.
Yeah.
Like, his games are basically straddling
Movies.
the line between game
Yeah.
and movie a lot. His
Yep.
cutscenes are super long, cinematic, and frankly amazing. It
And the
almost
games
seems
aren't even
weird
like
that he hasn't made a movie until
the
this point.
cutscenes are better than the
Because of
games.
that, it also seems kind of weird that he's actually considering.
I wouldn't even call Hideo Kojima's games so much as games. They're vehicles for him to deliver a narrative. That is legit. When Hideo Kojima says I have a game for you, he is about to tell you a story that you interact with. Like that is what's about to happen.
Making movies. But he said this in relation.
Unless somebody's working with him and like stops him and like adds in game elements or something, but you leave the man alone, he will literally create a game where you just, oh, gold crumbs, fucking A. I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up right now so I don't forget to come pick it up before I leave this floor. Even the universe agrees with me. Thanks, universe. The gold crumbs on that one.
To talking about where entertainment is heading. He said music, movies, games, they're all headed to the same space, and that's streaming. He thinks that this leaves room for sort of cross-pollination between not only creators, but possibly mediums in general, because you'll have all of this stuff existing in the same space. I actually do think he'd probably be able to make a good movie, personally. He's been basically doing that, only making huge interactive experiences on top of these movies, as long as I can remember. Moving on to number 2, Tesla unveiled its Cybertruck, which is, I mean, it's really something. Quite divisive, to say the least. I don't know that I necessarily think it looks great, but I do know that it looks like a lot of video game stuff, because I saw lots of memes showing me this. The truck itself looks like a big, low polygon truck, and people were like, it looks like the Warthog. So you had people making it into the Warthog. It looks like Minecraft. So you don't really have to do anything to make it look like Minecraft, it just does. And then you had people showing the normal Tesla car next to a 3D model of Lara Croft from a recent game, and the Cybertruck next to a 3D model of Lara Croft from a 90s Tomb Raider game, and I just think that it's really funny. And finally, at number 1, well, it's maybe a little less weird than it is cool. A professional Street Fighter player actually met a model in an arcade, and they recently got married. They actually met about 10 years ago, before he was actually a Street Fighter pro, although they did meet at a Street Fighter tournament. She, outside of just being a model, also oversees a women's programming team called G-Star, so it's kind of understandable, the crossover here. But rock and roll, guys. Hope everything works out for you. And a quick bonus point for you. Valve removed about 1,000 games from Steam for quote-unquote abusing Steamworks tools, and really hasn't said anything else. Like, we don't really know what went on. A few developers have said what Valve said to them, and that they don't understand how or why they were abusing Steamworks tools. So we really don't know whether it's algorithmic or intentional or what, which is obviously kind of weird. Is this good? Is this bad? I think only time will tell, but it's certainly a big step, whatever it is. Is this month weird enough for you? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Click like if you enjoyed this video. And if you're not subscribed now, it'd be a great time to do so. We upload.
When most people hear the term alternative ending, they tend to think of DVD extras or random mentions of reshot scenes in films. But they're actually
I should go
way more
drop
common
this and
in video
grab.
games across the board. Many blockbuster releases have several possible conclusions, the outcome of the story varying based on the player's performance and the decisions they made throughout. The concept of alternative endings was popularized by Square in the mid-1990s when it launched hit SNES classic Chrono Trigger. A game with 13 possible conclusions, a figure that was unheard of during the 16-bit era. This struck a chord with players, many of whom replayed the game multiple times.
I just don't like what culture gaming. Is there anything else?
Yo guys, punk around another video.
Yo guys, I don't want to watch your video. Let's see. Yabba dabba doo da. YouTube, your search algorithm is fucking balls. It's like getting slapped in the face with a naked hobo's junk, dude. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Just getting dick slapped by your fucking shitty algorithm, and it's so nasty. Like, what the fuck is, what is all this shit? Oh my god. YouTube. We noticed you clicked on an ad once. I'm like, fuck, can you recommend any of the videos that I've actually... They're like, hey, we noticed that you... It's all what... It's row after row of what culture gaming videos. What the fuck is this awful channel? Why would I want to do nothing but watch their videos all day, YouTube? Does your algorithm... Can it really, like, not detect a single fucking... Yeah, let me search for something real quick. A single fucking thing that isn't, like... It's so bad, baby. It's so bad. Lost Ember, all cutscenes. I'm not sure what that is. So we'll open it up. Killer is dead? Yeah, why not? We'll watch this. It sounds like an action movie. Oh, I love it. It's so cliche right off the bat. I love it. Pour me a fucking bowl of samurai shampoo, mister.
Executioner. Checkmate.
Did he have like a large part of it muted for copyright purposes? I didn't. God, look at them eyes. They're so beautiful. Yes, fuck me eyes if I've ever seen any.
Don't tell me.
Wait, is it a she? It's a female voice actor.
The darkness.
Killer is dead.
Oh, dude, this reminds me of like playing games on the Dreamcast. God, has anyone else played Fatal Frame? Now that was a fucking freaky little fucking game. My very first girlfriend. Not my very first. My first girlfriend down here, down south, when I moved back. She was like a blonde, like little scene girl thing. But she was huge into the Fatal Frame series, and which surprised me because like she wasn't into video games at all, really. But then the Fatal Frame series, she loved it. She just loved it. So all of a sudden, bam! There's a PS4 or whatever. I think it was Xbox. I can't remember. I think it was Xbox. Yeah, I think it was Xbox. Gosh, I just can't remember. But boom, there's an Xbox and the Fatal Frame series. But she loved Fatal Frame, but she didn't want to play the game. It was too scary. So I played through every single Fatal Frame with her. She was like latched onto my arm, rock solid. Well, I slowly took that camera around every single corner. And man, the Fatal Frame game is a little scary, you know? There's some good jump scares. Plus you only have a stupid camera and you're trying to get away from these things. So I really it's a fun memory, man. I completely forget about at times. Let's play.
Wake up. Mondo, wake up. Open your eyes. Slowly. It's time to get some work done. We've got prey that needs hunting.
Mondo, you listening to me?
Mondo.
Hey, give me a sec. I'm in the middle of something. It's time. Sorry, baby. I got a job to do.
Oh,
But
shit.
afterwards, we'll pick up where we left off.
I can't wait.
I know. I won't be long, I promise. You can go to my place. Mondo!
Okay. I'll forgive you this time.
God damn it, Mondo.
What do you mean, sir?
Spill your wine on the target, and please make it look natural.
Roger!
Mondo, slow down. Well, I'm racing against the clock here. Every second counts.
I spilled it!
Did the target move?
Yes!
Oh, I almost killed myself.
Good. Approaching the target.
This game is already is already silly as heck. Okay, let me go grab some water. I'm gonna let myself heal here. We'll come back and we'll watch, I don't even know, Mondo go on some testosterone fueled murder fuck frenzy across fucking LA Noir. Fuck it. Fucking Mondo. Who the fuck's named Mondo? Okay. Mondo, let's fucking go, dude.
Leave the rest to me.
God damn, no wonder he pulls in the women with that fucking blender on his arm. Oh, Mondo. I wanted to see all the cutscenes. I don't know if I necessarily need to see all of the slashing here. I need to see that slash. How was that one? Okay.
New around here?
How was that one impressive?
Sir! Let go of me, you stupid!
A little bitch. Spilled wine on my suit. I'm your replacement.
I see. Are you saying I dropped the ball? Because I was under the impression that I executed every job perfectly. Haven't I, Brian?
The boss isn't here. He's waiting at the table. He'd like to have a few words with you.
Is that so? Oh, I'm glad. Good luck, kid. One day, you may have to walk this path too. And on this job, you always come face to face with darkness. That's why you gotta find a beacon of light that'll never succumb to it.
Thank you. Those are words I won't forget.
How about a drink?
Is this the voice actor for
Did I make a mistake?
Cyborg?
By going against the state. That's evil, man. At least that's what I believed. Tell me, did you accept the darkness? I devoured it entirely. I've been enchanted by her beauty and her chaos. The still dark night. Everyone feels that way. It doesn't matter now. Watch out for that young kid. He's dangerous. Show him the right way. Yeah, I intend to. To the executioners, a toast. Cheers. Good wine. A 1950 vintage Burgundy. Brian, was my life worthwhile? Everything in life is worthwhile. Never forget that. The killer is dead.
Now, let the killing begin.
It starts today. Mika, get up. Time to go. Get dressed. It's time to go to the office.
What? We passed the test?
I passed the test.
What about me?
Failed, obviously.
Huh? I was afraid of that. I'm a loser.
If you're gonna throw a tantrum, do it later. I've got work to do right now. Let's try harder next time. You know I'm gonna need an assistant.
Really?
Yes. Let's get ready. Pronto.
I'll do my
starting here today?
I'm his assistant, Mika, and I'll be helping him out.
That's nice, newbie. But you've already got the job. Save it for later. All right, you two, listen up. We're the country's first line of defense.
Gosh.
We operate solely on taxes.
They nailed the tropes. So silly.
From now on,
Perfect.
every fiber of your being exists to serve the state. Am I clear?
Yeah, I think so.
I understand.
So, who's our client?
Good. I should be here any second.
I already am. I'm Robert, the artist.
So to summarize, you're living next to a monster. Is that right?
Monster?
So, you're suggesting that this creature is what's responsible for all the recent disappearances?
That's only speculation, of course.
Speculation? The truth is often found buried deep within speculation. In fact, some monsters can only be uncovered through speculation.
Chief, please calm down.
Yeah, I got a little ahead of myself there.
Well, that's not all.
He didn't even sound that. Whatever. This writing. This is such a B movie. Such a B movie. I love it. Oh shit! Look at this sketch. I like that. What I really like most about this cutscene is that he says, "But that's not all," and then he looks him dead in the eye, and we all look him dead in the eye. And then he just stops and he doodles for what must be like 5 to 15 minutes straight at least. And then he hands us the next picture and finishes his sentence. Or he has like the quickest hands in the West if he's like, and that's not all. And then in between two words, he just throws you a sketch. God damn, I'd be fucking swept off my feet with hands like that.
You hear children scream in terror every single night, and your window is spattered with blood. Then it's only natural to assume that you're living next door to some kind of demon or monster.
And this drawing came straight from our client. It's gotta be the real deal.
It's gotta be the real deal.
So, Mondo, do you have it all?
Yeah, I've got it covered.
Yeah, fucking easy.
Right. After careful consideration, we've decided to take on your case. However, I do need to inform you that the function of this office is execution. You got any problem with that?
Execution?
Yeah. Well, this is a monster.
It's a monster.
Right, a monster.
We kill monsters.
That okay with you?
Yes.
Fine. Now we need the $10,000 up front for our services.
What? Isn't the state supposed to pay for the execution?
The execution, yes. But cleanup of the body parts and gore is not cheap.
Vivi, why don't you just calculate the expenses at the end?
Chief, not again.
A fitting task for our newest employee. Wouldn't you agree, Mondo?
Please check back with our office in 1 week, and we'll give you a status report on our progress. Now, if you could please sign on the line.
But of course, we won't keep you waiting an entire week.
Thank you very much.
What the fuck did we just do to this guy?
It's awfully quiet.
What did we do to ourselves?
I don't hear any screams.
It's a quiet neighborhood.
It's positively cell-shaded.
Fish. Literally.
What a horrible odor. Like something's rotting.
Will you two be all right?
We'll be fine.
Fine and dandy.
Give us a call if things get out of hand.
God, let Mika or whatever die right away.
Good job. Killer is dead.
Now where's our client?
Excuse me, sir. Please, I need help.
You are...
It's my sister. Please help her. My older sister. She's lost it.
What's her name?
Alice.
Where is she right now?
Oh, man. Please help Alice. I'm begging you.
Where is Alice right now?
She was tricked by a scary-looking man. That's why I'm frightened.
Trust me. My name's Mondo. What's your name?
Elisa.
You said right away. How long are you gonna make me wait? Forget about work and just come see me. I have something special for you.
Okay. So Alice in Wonderland theme. Always a good place to take the head trips.
Who the heck is that woman? It looks like outdoors inside the room. What a strange place. Be careful. As long as its head is attached to the top of the wall, you have to cut it off.
Hey, Mika. Where did you get in from?
Sir, you came just in time. This lamp is very strange. Every time I put it out, it keeps relighting. Weird.
You haven't answered my question. Quit playing around and get to work. We need to find Alice.
Aye, aye, sir.
But what she said also bothers me.
What? Is that lamp bothering you? If you can't reach something, your left arm might come in handy. But just be careful about using too much blood.
Time for a quick smoke here.
Are you the owner of this house?
You see anyone else here?
I met your younger sister, Elisa.
Elisa? That girl. Is she still hanging around?
She was quite worried about you.
Lies.
You're right, that is a lie. All I sense in this house is your stench. It only has your color. I've met you before.
Mondo. Thank you. You are the first and the last man to have come this far.
I will take away all of your pain. I'll set you free.
Yes. It hurts. It hurts.
Alice, what's wrong? Where does it hurt?
It's my back.
For how long?
A year. I took a vacation to the moon, and ever since I returned, it hurts.
Did you see anyone there?
Yes. It hurts. It hurts. Mondo, please. Help me.
Who Who did you see on the moon?
A scary man.
His name. I need his name.
I remember. David! The pain. It's gone. I want to see David. It hurts. 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 Mondo, am I a tortured soul?
Oh god, I bet that hurts. I had to break her back too. She couldn't even have just a normal posture. What's up with the fucking music though?
Killer is dead.
Insulating clay, that's a new one.
We're so sorry. Rest in peace inside this house of candy.
Boss, job's complete.
Good work. In fact, great work from a newbie.
Here is the promised land.
Thank you. Alice, we made it last.
Bubba?
So, it was you all along.
Hold on, my cat is doing dumb stuff.
You know her?
Yes. This is the woman who killed me. Do not be deceived by the story of the moon. This woman is a natural-born killer. Now my death has been avenged. I greatly appreciate your help.
He's gone.
Vanished.
The joke's on us. How are we supposed to get paid, Chief?
I guess we'll just build a stake.
Let me get him, he just won't quit.
Ones who suddenly appeared out of
Come on, buddy, you gotta go.
took everything from me. As proof that I still lived, they left my flesh, all that remains of me in this world. We were once the rulers and magistrates of ages past. To cleanse this world would have been a simple task, but that was not what we wanted. We loved this beautiful planet the way it
We'll
was.
lock him in the other room with his mama bear.
From the moon.
Hey, what's up, Bitcoin overdose?
That is why we will never forgive the poachers who robbed us of that pleasure.
I should go grab this fourth item.
I am Moon River. We live on the dark side of the moon.
Wait, what? get past this cheesy little cutscene
Appeared out
here.
of thin air, took everything.
Sorry. I had to hop up for a minute because the cat, he loves to just chew on. He throws a huge fit when he doesn't get what he wants. And he knows when my headphones go on, he knows that he's not going to get what he wants. So.
How are we supposed to get
He was just about to catapult himself. What he likes to do is just throw himself on the cables and stuff behind the computer. I have to have spares because he just breaks them, bites through them. He's bad. He got some behavior issues.
The ones who suddenly appeared out of thin air took everything from me. As proof that I still lived, they left my flesh, all that remains of me in this world. We were once the rulers and magistrates of ages past. To cleanse this world would have been a simple task, but that was not what we wanted. We loved this beautiful planet the way it was. Gazing at the Earth from the moon was one of our few pastimes. That is why we will never forgive the poachers who robbed us of that pleasure. I am Moon River. We live on the dark side of the moon.
Huh, okay.
Please execute this man. He called himself David.
David.
Man, you know where this man lives?
On the dark side of the moon.
I see. Of course, it's the dark side.
If he's on the dark side, I'm afraid he's not within the country's jurisdiction.
How much will it cost?
Forget it. The amount is far too much to be exchanged in cash. With all due respect,
David destroyed your place. No doubt a foul creature. I'll execute him post-haste. This job will be done for a one-time discount. The price is your kiss. That ought to be worth more than money.
What a lecher.
If you can, if you really can execute this man, then you may have it.
Boss, I can start this job now.
Vivian, contract, please.
Thank you very much.
You can pay me when the job's done.
Hot damn. What game is this? This is Killer is Dead, and the crypto game that I'm playing is Forgotten Artifacts. So the one that I'm running around in and smacking all the enemies in, this is Forgotten Artifacts. Playing the new patch and getting some of the new crypto items that they released. And the one that we're watching is Killer is Dead, which is some like futuristic LA noir, like God of War something. Like we're only 30 minutes in. We know that David's evil, but we don't really know much else. Oh my gosh. Let me take this real quick. There we go. Thanks for the follow, Bitcoin.
It didn't take long to get to the moon.
Felt like my insides were being crushed.
Oh well, sucks to be you. I'm glad I decided to sit this one out.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for a minute and let my health regen.
Say, Mondo,
Have a quick
is
smoke.
it your first time on the dark side of the moon?
Yeah, but I got this feeling of deja vu.
Don't overextend yourself. If you need help at any time, we'll come no matter where you are.
I'll be fine. You'll still be eating breakfast by the time I get back.
I gotta say, this over the top cliche game is it's growing on me, man. I love this tough moon mafia motherfucker.
There's no oxygen. Why aren't I dead? Interesting.
Like these comments, I love it.
Mondo, my intuition tells me there's treasure in the palace.
Huh. I didn't come prepared for no oxygen on the moon. I should be dead. Oh well. I love it. So I'm guessing from what they said earlier in the cutscene, the left gun on his arm actually shoots his blood. And that's what that bar indicates, like how much blood he can shoot still.
Mondo-san, I've been meaning to meet you in person. I'll be waiting for you, so please feel free to stop by.
Mondo-san.
Outstanding! Just you and me now. Let's enjoy this time together.
It's just a job.
Okay, how cool is this new guy? Let's see. Clipping his fucking toenails.
What are you doing?
He's busy, man.
Here. You're really going to ask me that?
Clipping his fucking toes.
Can't you tell just by looking? I'm acquiring unparalleled power. Do you like my outfit? Quite fitting for a ruler.
You seriously plan to conquer the world wearing that? You look like a male model in a cheap underwear ad.
You're a funny guy. What do you say? How about we join forces?
Join forces?
Yeah, why not? We can become kings and rule the earth.
Tempting offer. But I'm gonna have to pass. Conquering the world is so overrated. Plus, it's way out of style. And besides, if you go that route, we'll get tons of complaints from the gamers. Isn't this supposed to be an action game?
And there's no alternative to crossing swords.
Afraid not.
Wait, did you seriously?
For the sake of the game.
You're just breaking the fourth wall? What?
I hope you realize the gravity of executing me. Do you?
Nope, not a clue. Okay, cat burglar, open your eyes. It's time to die.
You really are clueless about everything, aren't
Dude, we just break the fourth wall. Like, all of this setup, and then they just casually break the fourth wall. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's right. You only eat soft-boiled eggs. Heck of a diet.
How do you know that?
These eyes of mine, they see everything, Mondo. Your past, present, and future. I can see the entire world.
The job? Killer is dead.
Now that is a fucking outfit. Holy shit, that's gonna be how I go to bed at night. Come on, dude. Don't embarrass me. I'm watching your video, Mr. YouTuber. Let's see some one-shots.
Whoa, I'm still a beginner, you know.
You have a lot of potential.
I'd love to stay, but I need to return that moon in your eyes to my client.
Hold your horses. The moon doesn't belong to you.
Well, it definitely doesn't belong to you.
It does. Because I have become a god. That's right.
God, in that case.
Appearance is immaterial.
For a self-proclaimed god, you like
why don't you lend your strength?
Sorry. Getting my kiss is more important than becoming a god.
You play dirty, Mondo.
There are no rules in execution.
It's as though we've been living in different worlds.
You've just never met me.
Now die.
He just go phase 2 on his ass. Pulled out another sword and a health bar.
You're too slow. What was that for?
Don't tell me.
You need blood. Gather more blood.
Blood?
Can't you feel the hunger in your left arm?
Moon River. It doesn't happen that often. But we ultimately let the target slip out of our sights. I'm sorry.
It was my own weakness that caused this blunder. I don't know how to make it up to you.
Mondo. I can wait. However long it takes. But it also means I do not have a home. To whence I can return.
Then, why don't you stay at mine?
I already live there. Mondo!
Thank you very much.
What a fucking drum beat fucking love story, man. got no clue where we are going in this plot, though. I mean, we're gonna go do like cool guitar riff, motorcycle riding adventures, but it's not a narrative that's grounded by reality in any way. They already broke the fourth wall in the last boss battle, so it's super not taking itself seriously. We're traveling through Mondo's past of some sort now. We're seeing how he became Mondo. Is there some clue there? Is that Mama Mondo? Mamondo? Mamamdo?
This is my memory.
Shit, I figured it out before he did. This is David. Did David visit him when he was a kid? Fun. The devs for this game are having so much fun with just pointless things. He had a pet unicorn growing up. This boy is living my dreams. Damn, he's like, holy shit. She wants the horn. Now what are they, like 8? That is silly. Oh gosh. His mouth dropping. It's so boring when only one character has amnesia. Where's the anime or like the game where every character has amnesia, and we just spend the entire game figuring out like just with a litany with every character having amnesia, you could have just ridiculously stupid storylines. Add in whole new plots like at the last minute. Me too, dude. I'm tired of being teased with this one character amnesia bullshit. Give me like an entire roster. In fact, every character that I add to my team has amnesia, and as we solve their amnesia, that's how they get skills and level up and everything. Boom, let's go. Let's play like the true. Let's give in to all the cliches and tropes. Let's have like 4 main characters, all with that like perfect main character storyline amnesia setup. Like let's go for it. Let's go for it. Someday I will learn how to make really bad video games, really bad ones. They'll be like Hideo Kojima games, and that they won't be games. They'll be more like art pieces, in that they're just a medium to tell the story, because they certainly won't be enjoyable if I make them. I can't code for shit, but I've been looking at Unity's pretty decent. There's a couple things that I've been fooling around with. My girlfriend does graphic design, so certainly wouldn't be as good as this. This is like nice. I would have like a really cheesy like 8-bit platformer.
Is this part of my memory too?
She died? We'll pause it for you for a minute, dude, because I'm gonna have a smoke. And we'll come back to that. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish up this scene, and then probably finish writing pages for a bad book that I'm writing. But then after that, maybe we'll do something like a game. That would be fun to learn how to do. It'd be like code a game pretty badly. Oh. As long as I still have this, the Ring of Revenge, it's actually pretty easy to get through all of this. I do need more items. I have one up there that I can get. So there's one down here. I keep meaning to have this smoke, but I'm just sitting here with it. This guy. Yeah, where are the chests at? Where the chests at? I'll let the little goat go to work. Oh fuck, I got a good plot for my stupid game that we just made up. My stupid amnesia storyline. I got it over here. I'm writing it down. I know the stupid plot line. I mean, we'll have to fix it up and add some characters, blah, blah, but I know the stupid plot line that we will do for our stupid amnesia game. I'm sure there has to be a game out there that just pokes fun at this horrible fucking trope, but I got it, man. I know exactly. I know how my characters are developed. I know how it's all going down now. I know. Wait, I think I do want to go down this hallway. Is there another? That's it. That's all we got this time. Oh no, there's a hallway up there. Yeah, let's go look at that. That was an interesting attempt. That was an interesting attempt to do something unique.
You must have been having a nightmare.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. When exactly was it we met again?
According to my memories, it wasn't long ago.
Where did you live when you were a child?
On the dark side of the moon, my entire life.
Of course you did.
Is something the matter?
Queen of Dreams. She must be playing tricks on me.
Miss Jubilee, your gift is one that all the world desires. Let's keep it in here. Now, my dear, put on these headphones. Now the sounds you create will only twist and befoul people's emotions. Feelings of kindness and happiness will turn hateful and murderous. People will turn on each other in a brew of turbulent passion.
I'm Brian. I run the place. Now that you're here, there's nothing to worry about. Please feel free to...
I see. He stole from her the very essence of what it is to be a musician. And he's a musician as well? That bastard. We'll get your precious sounds back to you, no matter what it takes. That's a promise.
Now, if you would, please read this and sign.
Here we are. Our music man is on the top floor. If there's anything, I'll use the radio. Good luck.
Understood. I'll take care of it.
Good answer. Wait, because our client is pretty?
No. Because it's my job.
Okay, I do have the epic now. I just need the other items. Stop, kitty. Stop, kitty.
Mondo, that door is locked with a retinal scanner. Why don't you use that goon's eyes? They've retracted the access bridge behind you. I'll get it back for you.
Don't bother. Only way to go is forward.
I'm a certified blood-drawing nurse, Scarlet. You should feel honored to be in my presence. Feel free to stop by anytime you want. I'll be waiting.
Looks like you have some time on your hands.
I'm not exactly twiddling my thumbs here. Aren't we supposed to be working?
Oh, you're right.
Even so, this is a pretty tall building.
Nothing to be concerned about. It's not nearly as high as our contract fee.
Feel like I'm heading to the moon.
By the way, Do you know what it's called when the moon blocks out the sun?
An eclipse?
Correct.
Why'd you bring that up?
I just thought of it because there was a special report on the news. Did you know that the moment the moon blocks the sun, it's called a diamond ring?
Well, aren't you the romantic one?
Romantic? I'm simply talking about tangible assets.
Is there some point you're trying to make?
Only that I'm a material girl.
What a surprise. Sure is a tall building.
Monster of the Mountain. We're just missing the Yorkie ammo. I haven't got any of those. I wonder if I'm in the right area for those at all. Still need courting rings. And those should be easy to get. I've seen people already picking those up from the earlier areas.
Huh?
And so, I will mass produce these sounds of malice and transmit them throughout the world from this very tower, which will serve as an amplifier.
Sorry, I think I missed a few key points there. So, could you start over with this grand plan of yours?
Evil is going to spread, and this world will be purified.
Yeah, that's great and all, but I've come to take back her ears.
Come to take back? How vulgar.
You think I'm vulgar? Take a look in the mirror, pal. Strange. The man in the photo actually isn't bad looking.
You don't understand anything, do you? I no longer need a body of flesh, as long as I have Miss Jubilee's ears.
Those ears belong to someone else. Your logic makes no sense.
But it is a force that can be used for good. It can purify the world.
Whatever. I've got work to do. So let's get this over with. I'm here to...
Okay, I definitely have the rust barley grains done.
Opinions are very different on this, aren't they?
Debating the matter won't get us anywhere. May I suggest we settle this the hard way?
Agreed. I shall reveal to you my true form.
Like I said, we're done talking. Killer is dead.
Okay, I still need that. Oh, but that only gives you an empty elixir bottle, which we get tons of those in the later dungeon.
Ooh,
Ooh, we almost have the Tainted Deceiver quest done.
Moon is full of malice. Not good.
We just need. I think we have everything except for the crude bry. We just need sun shrooms for this, and maybe the spring water. Where do we get the bry from?
Warriors are the envy of the world. Please, take good care of them.
Their owner no longer belongs to this world. Do you understand how it feels to have something more important than life itself stripped from you? But with this,
What a nice bit of storytelling there, giving the voice to the sparrow.
What about our payment?
Okay, now who has the crude bry? That's all I need to get that legendary.
So you will not kill me then.
You called?
I am so full.
We've got a job.
And our client?
Already gone.
Then I assume you've already gotten their personal information, as well as where to send the bill?
So what's the job?
A tiger appeared in Kyoto.
Tiger?
Is it wires?
Probably.
What is wires?
What is it?
You mean you didn't know?
That's a good item.
It's the scum you've been killing this whole time. It's what they're called.
Wait a minute. You're saying they had names too?
Lifeless dwellers of the moon. Wires.
Our target this time is Yakuza. Go bring me the head of their leader, Hamada Yama.
Made pretty good progress on getting a couple of these items. I wonder if I should just...
Are you sure?
Farm a different...
That's the job.
Understood. His execution will be swift.
Well then, the drill's the same. Speaking of which, why are the two of you living together?
I want to check the item list that people have looted and see what dungeon might have what I want.
I then discovered she happens to be pretty good at making soft-boiled eggs, so I'm letting her stay.
I still can't understand that child sometimes.
That makes two of us. The job. Killer is dead.
These enemies, they're like ninjas. I've heard they're highly stealthy, extremely powerful, fun deadly. What a pain. All right, I've put
Okay.
the scroll
It looks like the Culinarian's call is in the crypts.
When you're close to one, your left arm should vibrate. I suggest you examine the area, and when your arm does vibrate, proceed with caution. First it's ninja, and now it's samurai. They say that samurai are masters in swordsmanship, and willing to bet they're much tougher than your previous adversaries.
How could you just leave me? Cold, cold man.
About your target, Hamadayama. He's technically not a Wires.
What is he?
He was originally human, but was transformed into one. When the dark matter from the moon corrupted his soul.
Dark matter.
So he's not too different from the vampire you defeated a little while ago.
Then, to save his soul, after we had him?
Hesitate for 1 second, and you'll be the dead one.
Hey, that's right.
You've noticed too.
This is the boss's show, then. I can hardly be the star, can I? I've come here for your head.
I thought he was supposed to come.
You're not scared?
I left all my fear on the moon.
The moon, huh?
The time has come. Now then, I shall see whether
Time to race the time. Hit them back with a harder blow.
Yeah, it even adds in a little. Yo, welcome back, Bitcoin. Oh, I mean, I was talking a lot of smack about like being a motorcycle drama and stuff, but here we are. We got the motorcycle, dude. This A+ to the devs. You guys know what you're missing.
Why he chose to send you.
Oh shit!
It's time to end this duel.
That little thing.
A perfect place for your death. You wear the scent of blood. Trust me, I prefer hitting on hot chicks. Then, you're not an executioner by choice. I woke up one morning, and my arm was replaced with this machine. Good thing you didn't become a poisonous insect. Let me end my own life like a true samurai. Assist me. It would be an honor.
And then he has to make the cut first before he beheads him. He has to bring it all the way across his stomach and up. And then after he makes the cut,
The tiger will disappear, so the dragon must stay. Of course. Killer is dead. I have branded in my memory. The death of a true man.
Hot damn. Me too.
The tiger is gone. Is a little hard. When you usually do it perfectly. Is something the matter? Is there something on your mind? No. I think working for the government suits me. Don't taint my blood? I'll get it, Mom.
He sees you.
Come here, Mondo.
the middle of dinner. Please leave.
How unfortunate.
I'll get it, Mom.
Now, like, what? Oh no, the eggs. I half expected the eggs to, like, because they keep talking about the eggs being fucking hard. I half expected the eggs to stop the sword. This one looks new. What is this? Ah, that's the spring water I needed. Perfect. Now we're in fucking business.
Master, please come with me.
He does have a unicorn. Holy shit. He does have a unicorn. A talking unicorn. I'm gonna take 2 of the spring waters because I have a lot of the other ones and I really need the spring waters. That's kind of why we're here, just to get spring water. But then again, with the spring water dropping that often and the other one dropping so infrequently.
Oh, man. Oh, no, this can't be happening. You! Are you all right? Hey, you!
Does it hurt?
David.
Hurry up and eat your software egg, or it's gonna get hard.
Yeah, I'm coming.
As you can see, our experimental equipment suddenly went completely out of control, causing one researcher to morph into a monstrous giant. Soon after, waves of wires infested the entire area.
Oh, I get it. The country's afraid that word of this would get out. And the media will have a field day flaunting the stand. Therefore, you're asking us to clean up your little mess.
Wait. Just wait a second. A giant did what? The Earth was stolen. But what exactly does this all mean?
The Earth is in danger, correct?
Very well. This planet is veiled in mysteries we can never hope to understand. We'll not press the issue further. So let's get down to business.
We execute each job flawlessly. That's how we roll.
We are gonna execute the giant and reclaim the Earth!
Oh, whatever. As long as we can milk the job for all the cash we can.
Vivian, can I talk to you?
Area 151 is home to the country's darkest secrets and research. I hear they've even captured an extraterrestrial.
It doesn't matter if we're up against aliens or giants. We do what we're paid to do.
Giant aliens! Giant aliens! Bring it on! Yeah!
You know, guys,
There's no sign of the giant. Based on what we've been told, I would expect to see it on the other side of the wall.
I think he got scared of us and ran away!
Is that the giant snoring?
This is a state of emergency!
it's gotta be around here somewhere. Why haven't we spotted it? I mean, it's a giant. Thing's hard to miss.
Seems it's sleeping in a cooler underground. If you ask me, we should kill it while it's asleep.
You got a point. I'm just praying it doesn't wake up in a bad mood. Mika, I'm counting on you to do the usual.
Ooh, how much is left? Damn, we're only about halfway through this. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, man. Amigos, I'm gonna wrap up this one. That's another 4 pieces into the crypt. We got like 30 to 50 items tonight. We made a good chunk of runs. There's really not much that I'm missing. I need to get some duplicates of a couple things. I need some more spring water. I need some more of the crackers. I need the other booklet, volume 2, to drop. I think there might be a volume 3. I can't remember. But I do have lots of chests. I think the chests correspond to what dungeon they're from. So the rose is from the crypt and vice versa. So that's what they're from. Honestly, I wish I just sold my Stampede tokens. But we'll see. Maybe when I can get more chests or keys or something, I will like that. We do have a lot of these. I think I am missing some items. There was a couple iterations of loot that I just kind of didn't grab. So we'll see. If anything, I only need to buy very few, like 4 or 5 items maybe, to finish getting my stuff. I saw this drop for somebody at Grimmelstone, so I know that there's still some Grimmelstones left. Can we check the loot? Is that something we can do? So we'll go ahead and take a look at it right now before I... Here we go. So we got an emblem of the ancients. $20 of 20, so this is new. Right? Oops. The Godslayers are gone. Still plenty of other weapons though. Oh, no wonder. I need to clean my the laser out of my mouse. Let me get a Q-tip real quick. Somewhere around here. Hold on, one second. Something got on the laser of my mouse. Shapeshifter's Mind. So there's plenty of Transcendence left. I will probably... Still some Pains of Immortals. Meridian wax, I need that. Damn, this mouse just picks up like every bit of cat hair. Oh, wow. That's night and day better. That's what the problem was. Had some cat hair stuck in it. Awesome. So those were all the mythicals. There's still 60 of these, actually. There's a lot of good items. I think I have one of the Devouring Voids. You need all of these still. Okay, all of these are still available. There's still bumpkins. Hunter's leverage, ice blade, barley. I don't see anything that I'm missing that I can't get. And there's more than I thought available. Quite a bit more. Unless these are only going to be quest items, I'm not sure there. I know antler oil has dropped a couple times. In one of the other dungeons that I haven't done, so I do need to get antler oil. Looks like none of the amulets are dropping. I've got the indigo leather. Actually, 985. Oh, that must have been dropping before the patch came out. I have got the leather. I've got the barley grains. I've got the gold crumbs. I finally got some of that. I've got harnide. Got a couple of those. We got some insulating clay. I haven't got the lacquer or the mountain ash. I think I've got the amber and the ingot. Not either of these. But it doesn't look like these two drop either because there's nothing claims. Maybe one of these, I'm not sure. I've definitely got sea stone, no scatter. None of the coral weed either, so that must drop from one of the lower dungeons. I've got a couple of these waters. I must be half of the waters that have been claimed. I haven't got any of the Sarium ingot. Oh, and the Wrath Crown feathers are dropping, because look how many of those have been claimed. That has to be in one of the lower level dungeons, too. I haven't got any of those. Or the Antler Ink, or the Honeycomb. I've got a lot of Arlaton. I mean, that's pretty much it. There's some blush berries. I haven't seen those yet. Oh, there's lots of Grimmel stones left. Right on. Lots of Grimmel stones. Still even Holiday perfumes. Still salts. Only 5 last task coins left. Not many Menders mixed. There's none left of that. That's cool. Ultra Blood Feed, that is dropping. Okay. Okay, there's the blue rock die, which it is dropping. It is dropping. I've only been getting green, so I've been farming just the green area. And there's only 2 volumes of Culinarian, so I need to get... So I've done about 14 runs through Haunted Crypts. I need to do like 14 through the others. $24,000 of the sun shrooms. 24,000. So the greens, there's really just so many greens. There's red rock, there's green rock. And they're dropping, but there's only so few red claimed versus the green, which has been murdered. Absolutely murdered on the green. And the blue, which is a little bit more than the red. So is the blue the first dungeon, red's the second, but the red, blue, but both the first dungeons have been done a lot more. Are they rare? Are they somehow quest only? I'm not sure. Oh, I'm not sure there. Alright. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. I'm going to call it here. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll have another day of it. We'll have another good time. We'll be doing... I might be taking tomorrow off, actually, because I might not be getting in until late. So we will come back... Let's see, what would that make? We'll come back Thursday, and I'll be doing a stream Thursday. And yeah, appreciate everyone who tuned in. As always, thanks for the follows and the subs, and I'll see you soon. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and jump into my Telegram if you want to catch the latest giveaways, because even though I won't be streaming, I will be posting those all the time. Got quite a few freebies in my Discord as well.